So notorious, they got to know that life ain't always what it seemed to be. Words can't express what you mean to me. Even though you're gone, you're still a team. To your family, I'll fulfill your dreams. In the future, can't wait to see if you open up the gates for me. Reminisce sometime. The night they took my friend. Try to black it out, but it plays again. When this real feeling's hard to conceal. Can't imagine all the pain I feel. Give anything to hear half your breath. I know you're still living your life after death.
And so this brings us to the third portion of our service together, celebrating Ryan's life. Of course, the cause of us gathering is that he died, but the real reason that we're here is because he lived, because he was born on December 18th, 1989, and walked among us for 15 years. If you have given some thought to it and you would like to offer up a tribute, I invite you to come forward to this microphone here, following a few prepared remarks that Mr. Ron Holotuck will read on behalf of the family.
This was written by Ryan's brother, Ian. I fondly remember how we would play and wrestle for hours on end. Ryan would giggle and giggle and keep coming back to wrestle for hours upon hours. I was so proud of him when he would challenge me. He would love to have a duel of wits in which he would surprise me every time. I was most proud of how mature Ryan was. He was never out of place in a room of adults and never ceased to amaze those around him with his ability to hold a conversation. At Dad's retirement party, he stood up unrehearsed and paid tribute to Dad and all Dad's fellow workers and left everyone speechless. This one's entitled To My Little Brother, and it's from Darwin. I'm so sorry that I missed the last 16 months of your life while I was away. I thought of you all the time, remembering the times we had together, like the weekend you spent with me at my place, ice fishing, snowmobiling, playing video games, and watching movies. I will never forget that weekend, or the time I let you drive my car. You were a natural. I also remember when I bought you your first motorbike, and Dad and I spent hours after work fixing it up for you. When it was ready, I took you to the place where I used to ride my bike, and you wiped out. I thought it was going to scare you, and you would be afraid to get back on it. But instead, you got up laughing and back on the bike like a true champ. Ryan, I miss you so much, and I wish you were here with me right now. I wish this was a dream, and I would just wake up and it wouldn't be true. I want you to know how much I love you and still love you. You have given me memories that I will cherish forever, and for that reason I will smile every day. I'll miss you always, little brother. Love you, Darwin. We'll open up the floor now to those that have things that they want to share. I'm still going to ask about the gum that's stuck on the stop sign. If there's anybody here that remembers that.
I just realized, perhaps for the benefit of those downstairs, it would be better if you came to this mic. Is this even on downstairs? Okay, yeah, and that will help them hear. So, anyone who already knows they have something they'd like to share, please come forward. But don't want to come forward today, please consider writing it down for the family after.
Before we start our speeches, if everyone's really curious about the gum, we happened to be walking home from school one day in first grade, and Ryan had realized that he was polluting for however long he'd been throwing trash on the ground, and instead of throwing it on the ground, he said, well, I'm not gonna swallow it, I'm not gonna throw it out, I'll stick it on stop signs, I'll stick it on walls, I'll stick it on whatever, I'm not gonna pollute anymore. And we stuck it on this stop sign. Every day we walked home from our school to Glenda's house, where we were watched and got sat. This gum just sat and deteriorated for years and years. and we never forgot it, and we checked it up until it was completely gone. And that's just the main story behind the gum. There was nothing vulgar or anything like that about it. He wants to.
I guess I'll be the first to speak. It hurts. It will always hurt. When I heard what happened, it brought me down to my knees. A cold feeling came over me. It hasn't left. I fell apart. When I looked up from my sorrow, I saw many people who felt the same way I did. These people loved and cared for Ryan just like me. I believe if he had stopped to think about how many people loved and cared for him, Ryan never would have done it. If only he could see what he left behind. Ryan, I'll always miss you. For now, there is a void in me that can never be filled, and it hurts. It will always hurt. I still have all the priceless memories of the times we spent together, whether it was at school, your house, or at hockey. I'll never forget any of them, because you were one of the nicest friends I could ever ask for. Ryan, you can still make me laugh, because that's the kind of person you were. One of my fondest memories goes back to Maple Ridge. We all had a ritual of playing hacky sack in our own special section of hallway while waiting for class to start. Whether it's just a fun game or two-hit grat, Ryan would just often slip away in the middle of a game. We wouldn't notice till a little while later when we'd discover him eating Josh's lunch and copying his homework for that day. That just seemed to be Ryan's ritual. I will always cherish these golden memories of Ryan.
In the last few days, I've been wishing that I've had the chance to know Ryan a little longer. But I've also been grateful for the times that I've been able to share with him. Within the last 2 years, Ryan and I have shared many inside jokes, secrets, and have given much advice to each other. Last year, I had the privilege of being in the same gym class as Ryan, where I got to experience Ryan's true competitive nature that I had heard so much about. In December of 2004, Ryan came to school with a drastic haircut. We all knew that he would have had to have a good reason for him to let this be done. He then told me that he had joined the Army Cadets. Before then, almost all Ryan would talk about was Ontario Northland buses. He then turned his sights to serving his country. What used to be explaining to me how to tell the difference between the different models of buses turned into explaining the proper technique of the Canadian salute. And being the Ryan that we all know, Ryan would see how long he could grow his hair before being told he had to have it cut down. The Ryan that I remember was a boy you almost never saw without a smile on. If something offended him, he would find a way to turn it into a joke. The Ryan I remember would always have a way to cheer you up if you were down, even if he was as down as you were. If you did something wrong, he would see to it that you would do it better the next time. In short, Ryan was a great friend, and that's how I'll always remember him.
Ryan was one of the greatest friends anyone could ask for. Since we were little guys growing up all the way to when we were lighting each other's hands on fire. He was always there to help you out, no matter what the situation you were in. Ryan and I have done some pretty crazy things over the years we've spent together. I remember this one time I went to his house and I was sitting in his computer chair minding my own business. I smelled burning hair. It really stunk. And I turned around and Ryan had a Zippo lighter up to the back of my head. He lit my hair on fire. He laughed for so long and he just fell and laughed for the rest of the time, like the day. Another time, he hit on me upstairs. I went to his house, I looked in his one room and he wasn't there. I looked in his other room, he wasn't there. So I thought, oh, he's in the bathroom. So I slipped my hand in the doorway and he comes out from behind and slams the door on my fingers. Laughs his head off again. He was always like that, laughing, making others laugh. He was so easy to get along with. He also found it hilarious to trick people. Like this one time when we were at his house in the net chatting with Shauna and Meg, and we had the webcam on, so he got these Smirnoff bottles and filled them full of water and just started chugging them, and they thought we were some alcoholics or something. And in fact, they just found out that it was fake last night. He was also my DJing buddy. We did 3 dances in Boston together. He was so energetic, singing happy birthday on the mic and doing a funky chicken on stage. Everybody loved him. The last memory, but not the least, that I'll share with you is the time he brought his video camera to my house. We'd always think of the dumbest things to do on tape. He loved doing it too. It's really hard to believe that he had passed away so young. It will be tough to get through all these rough times, but Ryan has brought us all close together and taught us to care for each other as we have done for him. We are all here for each other, and that is what Ryan would want to see. I'm sure he's very happy with all of us as he looks down from the stars above. He will always be with us, Ryan. Rest in peace.
My name is Amanda Gowing, and I was very close to Ryan Fleming. He recently broke up with me before this tragedy. We have been together since February 18, 2004. Since then, we have had so many inside jokes, arguments, and being there for each other. I remember he would always call me Sugar Fairy. In the 6 months of our relationship, I finally told him I was an Army Cadet, the 204 Algonquin Regiment of North Bay. After he heard that, I convinced him to cut off his nice hair and join. Ryan fell in love with Army Cadets. He had nicknames for the air and sea. Excuse my language, but I am in church. He called them the Shithawks and the Mud Puppies. He has many memories with 204, and we will never forget him. We had many friends at the local schools in the districts, and we all know that he would make us laugh, play pranks on us, and tease us. But we would get him back and then laugh about it. His recent joke was, "Why does Snoop Dogg carry an umbrella?" "For drizzle, yo." For people who couldn't get it, he didn't care, he just laughed in their face. And then they would start laughing. We all loved Ryan for different reasons. I know he left many wonderful, supporting, and loving family and friends behind. We're all here for each other. Just remember, he's looking down on us and is so happy that we are here for each other. I will never forget Ryan. He will stay with me, and no one will ever replace where he stays in my heart.
I'm Nick, for those who don't know me. I was a really close friend to Ryan, and I'm going to start off with basically the 2 best memories I have of him. The first one was when we were really young. With Ian and Darwin, we used to wrestle with them all the time. Even though we'd always lose, we'd take the biggest pride in it and always tried to challenge them again. And the most recent one I have of him is when I was at his house. He was on the phone with Amanda, and she had told him to put shaving cream on my head, and he ended up that he did, but he was so afraid of me, he bolted to the washroom and locked himself in there until I left. But he was a really great kid, and I'm sure everybody's gonna miss him. He wouldn't have done this if he knew all the people who loved him.
My name's Josh Degg, and I've known Ryan ever since I was 5 years old, or when I started kindergarten, and I never completely understood until right now that it was his whole family making fun of me, not just him. First time I showed him my G1, Josh, give me a break. I drove a bus. Anybody can drive. And falling off his bike, and says you can suck it up. Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And wrestling didn't even matter if he won. He still wanted to fight me. And we always teased him for being so much younger than I was, or we were 6 months or 8 months, 2 months, whatever. But he looked after us all like an older brother. And it didn't seem to matter to him how much trouble he would have been in or persecution. He took responsibility for his own actions and the actions of others. Didn't matter if I had a part in it or not. He was always there saying, yeah, that was me, that was my fault. Hitting Mrs. Cooper in the head with a softball or throwing a snowball at her didn't seem to make a difference. And I'm frightened of how much trouble I'm going to be in now. We all love Ryan, and we're all coming together to try and fix the chain that was broken on April 25th. And we'll continue loving him and remembering him, even though he's not physically here with us anymore. I love you, Ryan.
I remember one weekend we were on the way to Tim Hortons and Ryan was sitting in the back seat of her car and he was blowing kisses at people at the window. Most of the time it was guys.
He participated in practically every cadet activity we had. He was a devoted cadet and a great friend. Even though we only knew him for 6 months, he felt like a brother and he was part of our family.
He was a hard-working cadet, my favorite cadet. Even if I gave him crap, he still stood up. He's like, yes, Lord, I'll do it. And it was true, he really did try to grow his hair long because I'd yell at him for it because he was in my platoon.
I remember the first time I saw Ryan, I was like, who is that? And then after that, he was like, the first time I saw him, I thought he was funny. He had like little teeth, but hey, it was cute. Anyways, and I thought it was really funny because he just comes up to me, he's like, what? He was like funny, and he made a joke, and I don't remember what it was, but I started laughing, and my head came.
Ryan is a part of our family, and we miss him dearly.
Never knew Ryan very much. The first time I met him was when he first joined cadets. I can still remember the face when the CO used my haircut as an example and he almost died of shock. The last time I got to meet him was on the cadet challenge. It was a good experience together. He wouldn't quit at anything, even night nap when I let us all over the place and we couldn't find the one mark. He was always determined to do what was right. And it was nice to see that he was going to get his promotion. It was good that a deserving cadet like himself was going to receive it.
He was not only a cadet, he was a brother. And we will always remember him.
It was really funny and liked to fool around. He liked to laugh at us because we were French. And us in French, pine cones called a cocotte. So last time I saw him, we were having a pine cone fight, and I kept calling him coconuts. I'm gonna hit you with coconut, man! And he's like, ouch! And anyway, it was really fun. And we were chewing a chin-up bar, and it fell down, so we tied it back up after the tree, and after it fell, it almost whacked him in the face. And Gasho, too. Yeah, he was really fun. Every time you thought you were not feeling good, he'd always cheer you up, make a joke.
He was really funny and a good friend. Yeah.
Ryan would always help out with the cadets that needed it. No matter what they didn't know, he was right there.
I remember Ryan first coming in, he just had that really big hair. And you just look at him and go, yeah, you're gonna have to cut it off. And he kind of just looked at me with sad puppy eyes and goes, but I can't, I love my hair.
Trying to hide it all the time.
And some cadets, they'll try and get away with growing their hair long enough where you can tuck it under your beret, but then your beret kind of sticks right out. So when he finally cut his hair, he had his beret, but there was no hair under it. So he had a big chef hat on. And, well, if you've ever seen a chef hat, well, trying to put that on a beret and then put it on a cadet doesn't really go too well with us. He was just an inspiration from the start. He came in, smiles, always saying hi to everyone, never putting anyone down. He'd probably put you down, but he'd say sorry afterwards and then... Yeah, no, nothing in your face about it. Yeah. But he was always there for you. He wouldn't let you down. He was just the inspiration that you wanted. The kind of cadet that you could look up to, no matter what was going on. Yeah. He was just your best friend from the start. You couldn't put him down no matter what. He just laughed back at you. I was just Ryan.
Every time you'd cry, you'd wipe the tears from your eyes. You'd come right up to you and just wipe them off and say that everything's gonna be alright.
First time he had his beret on, his hair stuck out. I told him he didn't have to cut it because we put it in a bun for him. Ryan was always into it.
Ryan was a really good cadet. Although he no longer graces us with his presence physically, he will always be in our hearts. One thing can be for sure, he's smiling down on us, and he's in a much better place.
No matter what, Ryan will always be a member of my platoon.
I guess when we say he's in a better place, it's better than having us yelling at him all night on Tuesdays. So, Ryan, may you rest in peace forever.
Ryan always went after what he wanted, and I know that firsthand because when we were in the 4th grade, Ryan had a big crush on me, and every time I saw him, he'd try and give me a giant kiss. After he realized that I wasn't interested in him that way, we were best friends for the longest time. He's definitely like an older brother to me. We could talk for hours about absolutely nothing, and it was really nice just to have him there. Ryan wrote an essay about me in grade 9 because he said I was his best friend, and I made a big difference in his life. In that essay, he said that we'll always be best friends no matter what, and that the only thing bad about me was that we had to go to different high schools. Ryan will always be my best friend.
I am Linda Chantel's best friend. I'm going to speak on behalf of Eleni, my little girl. She's the one sleeping actually right now. 5 years ago I had her, and Chantel became the godmother of my daughter, the youngest one. And every so often we go there, weekends, we keep her during the week on time. Ryan was always there. He was always like a big brother. He'd take her to the park, take her to the washroom, give her a bath, everything. He was just terrific, and she just adored him. She would spend hours and hours upstairs in that computer room. And she's going to miss him a lot, and she loved him, just like a brother. She has her own brother and sister, but Ryan was just like her brother. And she became part of their family, just like they're her own. She even took the credit. She said it was her daughter, and I said, yeah. I said, you can suffer labor for that one. But she remember Ryan, and she loved him. will love him. She'll remember him.
Well, I've known Ryan since grade 6. I can remember the first thing he asked me. What's that in your ear? This April, I broke my ankle. I started to hop along, I couldn't walk. Ryan then helped me. I guess he kind of got impatient, so he threw me on his back. Some cadets training there. And he carried me all the way to the front doors. I remember Ryan always pulled these prank calls on me. He always pretended to be my aunt from Germany. I hated it so much. Now I'd love to hear it more than anything. Ryan was a really great friend. He can make anybody laugh. I'm definitely gonna miss him.
That's a terrific outpouring of memories, and I'm sure there are just a few of them. I wasn't certain if anyone else had wanted to say something, but please come forward if you did.
Thanks. Please bear with me for a few minutes. This week, I had a few minutes to myself, and I reflected on Ryan